The Chicago Bulls have another opportunity to stop a streak, this time by the Houston Rockets, as they're on a 4-0 streak. Can the Chicago Bulls do it and finally be the streak stoppers that we hope for against the Cleveland Cavaliers? We'll talk about all and more, but first, we got to play the intro.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bulls Central Pod, man. You already know what it is. I'm the host here, Haize, man. Make sure you guys are locked in with us. And game day. It's game day. The Chicago Bulls, man, they are struggling right now, is what it comes down to, man. Hopefully they can not disappoint like the Bears did against the Green Bay Packers today. The Bulls have another opportunity to get a win here and to stop a streak. The Bulls right now, they're in the midst of some struggles right now. We've only won 2 games out of our last 6. Our last 8 games, I should say. I'm sorry, let me count correctly. So we're 2-8 right now in our last 10 games. So you, of course, hope that the Bulls are going to be able and be ready and better this game against the Houston Rockets. But this is going to be a tough game for the Bulls to win. A young, tough team that is just good. They're sound on both sides of the ball. They're really good defensively, really solid offensively as well. They don't play with necessarily the pace that the Chicago Bulls play with, but this is still going to be a tough team for the Chicago Bulls to beat. And Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green are both playing really well right now for that Houston Rockets team. And so the Bulls are going to have to be on their P's and Q's. We're going to have to hope that coaching has the Bulls at least semi together. And we're going to need some help. We're going to need a lot of help when it comes down to it. Can we get it? That's the question that's here. I don't know if we will, but overall, like the Bulls here's the thing. This is a Chicago Bulls team that has the opportunity, because of the way that they play offense, to really shoot themselves into just about any game, right? They have that opportunity. But the problem with the Bulls is that they just, listen, it is what it is. I'm going to refresh real quick if you guys see me. For some reason, your comments aren't coming through, but I do see them. Like when I bring up the YouTube window, I'm going to see if this fixes it. Give me 1 second. Clearly may be a bad technology day from Restream. Yeah, because the comments aren't popping up on my side at all. So the fact that I'm not bringing up your comments, it's not personal. I'm just not. They're just not coming in. And I don't stream right now. You know what? It's always one. It's just a random day all the time when Restream just decides not to work. It's always on random days. I don't know what that's about. I have no idea what that's about. Nonetheless, we're gonna still have the pregame show. We can still do what we do. So hopefully refreshing it, at least the blurriness is fixed now. I still can't see your guys' comments. Restream's clearly had a tough day. So I don't know what that's about. Let's see if I turn this on. Will it help? It's still not populating. So it is. We're gonna hold our Reginald Short says Houston and OKC are built correctly. Young team that plays 48 minutes on both sides of the ball. Yeah, and they got that way definitely because of some trades that they made, especially OKC, right? Audio keeps cutting in and out. Like, what the fuck is going on, man? It shouldn't be. It was just fine when I was doing Bear Central. So it's not the equipment. I don't know what's going on with Restream. I really don't know. Like, Restream is a piece of shit. That's what it is. I may have to finally make the switch to StreamYard is what I may have to do. Zoe coming projected to return to November 26th. What do you think about our rotations then? I mean, listen, the rotations are still going to be like Lonzo isn't like, I get a lot of people look at Lonzo like he's this all solvent fix for the Bulls, and he's not. He's just not. Like, he helps. Make no mistake about it. I don't think anybody's going to make the statement that Lonzo doesn't help, but he doesn't fix it. He doesn't fix the lineups. We're still very guard heavy. That's still the thing. That doesn't change much. All right. So at the end of the day, like, it just comes down like this Bulls team. It's not, the construction doesn't change unless you're adding a young, athletic, rim protecting big to this team. The team is going to be who the team is. It just is what it is. That's just the way that this team was constructed. And that's the way that it's going to keep being, unfortunately. Like, it's just not going to change. And so Lonzo helps on perimeter defense, lineups with getting, continue to get like Jalen Smith involved and things like that. It helps offensively and defensively. Like, Lonzo's still a very active defender, make no mistake about it. but Lonzo is only going to do so much to stop 60 points in the paint on average. He's only going to do so much to do that. So, listen, and keep in mind, still not playing back to backs. His minutes restriction may be even stronger now after the wrist injury. Keep in mind, they let him play like, I think it was like 19, 20 minutes in one game before he went down. But now with the wrist injury, they may put him right back on a very stringent minutes restriction. So, Lonzo can only help so much. He can only help so much. He's going to help, but it's not going to eliminate like a lot because he's not going to be playing in every game, right? Even if he is healthy, he's still not going to play in every game. He's going to be on a minutes restriction, which may even get pushed further out than what it was before because of his injury. And B, he's still going to be out there with fairly weak defenders most of the time. So, he helps a lot on offense. He helps some on defense. The problem is the team is so bad defensively that it's like, okay, yeah, it helps. So we'll go from the second worst defense in the league to maybe in the 10th worst defense. I'm sorry, the 20th worst defense in the league. So it just it is what it is when it comes down to it. Like we're not a good team. We're just not a good team. As defense, we're not a good basketball team overall. Like I said on the one episode, this team is more um it lacks substance. It's not substance. It's exciting, it's fun, but it's way more fun than it is actually substance that's going to be a sustainable winning team. It's just not going to be there. So, that's what it comes down to. But I think if this team was to get somebody who can really patrol, like a Derek Lively, Gafford, like one of those guys will completely change. I'm not saying the Bulls can get those guys, but it just helps so much, right? We need more help from those positions than we really do from another guard. And again, that's not a knock on Lonzo. Who Lonzo is, what he's been able to be since coming back from being out that long is all amazing, and I'm never going to take away from that. But it's just the reality of what Lonzo is and how much he's able to contribute, how much he's gonna play, it's only gonna help so much. It's really only gonna help so much, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the reality of it. So, what do we actually see a comment? Houston leads the NBA off on offensive rebounds. We're last in defensive rebounds. We're not last in defensive rebounds. What are you talking about? We're the best team as far as defensive rebounds. What are you talking about? Hold on, unless I doubt that the Bulls have dropped that far. We were number one in defensive rebounds to start the year off. Defensive rebounds. Hey, they have dropped quick. That's crazy. How the hell did we fall that far? I stand corrected. Shout out to Easy. I stand corrected. We've become the third worst defensive rebounding team in the NBA. Oh no, that's opponent. No, hold on. Let me go back. I'm about to say. No, the Chicago Bulls are the best defensive rebounding team in the league. I was looking at the opponent. We're 30. We average 36 defensive rebounds. The next team higher than that is the Detroit Pistons at 35. So no, the Bulls are actually the best team in defensive rebounds. So the fact that the Houston Rockets are the best offensive rebounding team, it actually is going to be a really interesting economy between the two. And keep in mind that even with them being the best, they only average 15 offensive rebounds per game. So they still give up more than they get. And so because of that, the Bulls being the best defensive rebounding team in the league, I think we'll be okay there. I think we'll be okay, in my opinion. So I don't know where you're getting at there, Easy. You may want to check those filters there. You had me thinking I was tripping. So hey. Rob says if they had a rim protector, I think the youth athleticism most of the team would make up for closeouts. They could definitely help out on closeouts, right? And missed rotations and things like that. Hogan says the Bulls dominate the boards. I was like, wait a second. There's no way we drop from number one to that low. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. So yeah. Is Modest playing in the G tonight? No, they already said they were going to recall him after last night's game. At least that was the plan, unless something's changed there. But I wouldn't expect that it is. We'll continue to see what happens there. But yeah, overall, I just hope that the Bulls come in this one prepared. You got to be prepared in this game. If you're not prepared, it's going to be ugly. And that's what I don't want to will it down to just preparation because you can be prepared and still get punched in your mouth and suck, right? But overall, this team, I think the level of preparation that this team has versus some games that they don't is really, really evident, right? Because even when the teams go on runs and we feel confident in the game plan and confident in what we're doing, I think we're fine there. We usually find a way to battle back. Now we don't always get the wins. And when you talk about this Chicago team as well, this Bulls team, you got to keep in mind this team could fight very hard. They can be in a lot of games. That closing aspect of the game for them is the toughest part right now. It's the toughest part. We just aren't necessarily good at all when it comes down to um closing out games. We just don't have that right now. And so we got to get to that point. We've gotten better. Even when you look at the start till now, we've gotten better at times like that, as far as just executing on both sides of the ball, but like we're still missing something. And that goes down to the things that should be easy for a lot of teams. Here's the thing, the things that are good, that are easy for good teams. I'm not even talking about great teams. The things that usually come easy to teams that typically are good are really hard for the Chicago Bulls. But the Bulls are excelling in some things that are usually difficult for bad teams too. It's really what weird, but it is what it is. And says, Haize, if we are in the 5th or 6th seed at the trade deadline, are you a buyer? Nothing changes it, because again, I'm not looking for momentary success. Unless we're like the 6th seed and we are considerably above the 7th seed, this team ceiling does not change. You cannot fall in love with momentary success glimpses, because that affects the long term of your future. To me, if Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic are still fetching back, or not still, but are getting, you can get reasonable deals for those that really help the future of your team. To me, you have to do it, because we've seen it. The ceiling of this team is not good enough by being the 6th seed, which would be ridiculous, to really do anything. He just said I got mixed. Oh, hey, listen, it happens to me too, bro. It happens to me too. Do you know how many times I'm doing an episode? And because I don't, for those that don't know, like most of all the episode is all here, right? So like I don't script my episodes. I write down some bullet points. I write down some of the more kind of out of the way stats just so I can reference back to them. But other than that, like I don't, like when I'm doing my episodes, I don't have a script. So there's times where I'm trying to recall some information, and I'll literally say something, and I'll immediately be like, wait a second, that's not right. What the fuck am I talking about? So it happens to all of us, bro. So no worries there. But I do think this is going to be a fun game. I do think this is going to be a fun game. I think when you look at the pace, when you look at the athleticism of the Rockets, those type of things, this is shaping up to be a really fun game for this Bulls team, for viewers today. Not necessarily for the Bulls, but I think this is going to be a really fun game for sure. We just got to hope what's going to happen here, man. Hokage Obama says, is Josh Giddey a worse defender than DeMar DeRozan? Now, I know DeMar just be camping in the paint and Josh actually be on the perimeter. Here's the thing. I'd still say no. Like, if anything, they're even. But the difference is that DeMar DeRozan has an elite skill as far as scoring points and getting to the free throw line, right? And Josh Giddey has an elite skill as far as playmaking, but he's not great overall offensively. He's definitely not good defensively. Like you can look at DeMar DeRozan is one of the best scorers all time in NBA history for a reason, right? So I think that's a part of it as well, right? So yeah, I think they're about the same defense. Like DeMar DeRozan is an absolute cone defensively, and if anything, like when Giddey has more games where he makes plays defensively where you look at it and be like, cool. But then again, DeMar DeRozan does get, even though getting steals doesn't mean that you're a good defender, but DeMar does get in those passing lanes mainly because he just camps out and waits because he's not good on or off ball defense. So that plays a part into that also when it comes to DeMar DeRozan. But again, DeMar's DeMar. He's been successful at what he's done to the degree that he's done it at. I think that Sacramento Kings team is learning the DeMar curve, because there is a curve with learning how to play with DeMar DeRozan, and we'll see where they are at the end of the season. When do we face the Kings for the first time? Because that's going to be a fun game. When do the Bulls face the Kings? Let's see. When do we play the Kings? We don't play the Kings for the first time until January 12th. Now that's in Chicago. And then we play them again March 20th. So there's quite a gap between when we play the Sacramento Kings. But yeah, take that for what you will. Rob says, what I like that P. Will is doing better lately besides on offense is closeouts and not letting the player get by him as easy like the game versus the Knicks on closeouts. Yeah, I mean, he's really good at that. He's really good at that. Ant the big homie says, DeMar be camping like them call off duty month. That's a great comparison there. And like, that's exactly who he is. That's exactly who he is. Like, and it is what it is. He's a vet in this league. He's got, like I said, he's done what he's done, but it is what it is. Would Robert Williams III help this team? I mean, yeah, he can help any team. The question is, can he stay healthy? Like at this point, don't we have enough bad knees on this team? Like, don't we have enough bad knees? Like the knees on this team are worse than Atlantic City hookers. Like 45-year-old Atlantic City hookers. Like, do we need any more bad knees on this team? Like, we got a rebuilt knee already. They got dead person's cartilage walking around the knee. Zach LaVine has had several knee surgeries as well, right? We got that. Nikola Vucevic got ankle issues, right? And then you want to add Robert Williams III. Like I said, knees worse than a 45-year-old Atlantic City hooker. What are we doing? What are we doing? Now, if Robert Williams was 100% healthy and a doctor walked in and was like, listen, I can give you a 96% guarantee that Robert Williams is going to stay healthy for you. I'll take that. I'll take that. But it is what it is, man. In Prero says, bro went from heartbreaking loss to the Packers to doing a pregame bull show. Bro is a legend. I call it a day. Shout out to you, bro. Hey, you want to know something? I know you may not follow this. I actually went from the Bears postgame show to doing the Chicago Sky draft lottery special. Then I took a brief break. I started dinner, cooking for the kids, and then I turned around and did this. So there you go with that. Like, it's just, it never stops. When I looked at this Sunday and the schedule and things that was going on this Sunday, I literally was like, hey, I'm just not going to really get a chance to breathe today. And that's perfectly fine. And, it comes with the territory. When you set out to cover your favorite teams at a high level, that's just shit that comes with it. And it's a labor of love. I'm blessed. Here's the thing though. I truly feel like this. I am blessed, absolutely blessed to be able to cover my teams for a living. I'm blessed to do that. Like, that's not something I take lightly, bro. Like, I worked at jobs for years that I hated doing. I get to do this shit and cover my teams, the goddamn teams I would be talking about every day for free if I didn't get paid to do it. And I get to do that for a living. Do you know how blessed that is, bro? That's a blessing, man. You know how many doors this opened up for me? It's crazy. It's crazy to see, bro. Shay says, I'm sorry, Haize, but I would have to rob you for that jacket. And 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to get shot, but that jacket is too far. I mean, why not just go buy your own? Why risk? Because I'm going to shoot you. Why risk me shooting you? Why risk that instead of just going to buy your own jacket? I'm just asking. V-Dog says, side note, brother, still NBA related. What's your thoughts on the NBA saving inside the NBA? They still be producing content, but leased through somebody else. Oh, I didn't even know that was happening. I didn't even know that was happening. I had no idea that was happening. I mean, shout out to them. Inside the NBA will move to ESPN next season amid lawsuit. Shout out to them. Good for them. Like, it's inside the NBA is important. It's important. Like that. It's a cultural. Like it's so. I don't mean cultural as far as like black white culture or anything like that, but I mean culture as far as NBA culture. Inside the NBA is important to NBA culture, and that just is what it is. So I'm glad that they're getting to stick around. I think that they're deserved to stick around. I think when you look at the impact that they have and just like it's the entertainment factor of it. So yeah, I think that that's a big thing for sure. So it is what it is, man. When it comes down to it, I'm glad those guys are going to get to stay on. I'm glad they're going to keep doing what they love. I'm glad they're going to keep bringing their brand of comedy around. So shout out to them for working that. I wonder how that works out. TNT. What the fuck was that? See, this is what I don't like about taking Restream got it. At this point, I'm about to run the fade on Restream. That's what we got to do. We got to beat Restream's ass. That's what we got to do. I'm literally going to find the person who created Restream and I'm going to beat their ass. I'm going to beat their ass. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to beat their ass. And I'm going to run that fade I should have ran on Billy Donovan years ago, and that's going to happen to Restream. Haize, I will happily. I don't have any hand-me-downs. What are you talking about? I'm not DJ. I'm not giving you no hand-me-downs, my brother. It's not happening. I ain't got nothing to give. If I was gonna give it to anyone, I got a whole 18-year-old son. So that's who's gonna get him, if anything. EMP going off over at Haize home. I really wish that Restream would get their shit together. I really wish Restream would get their shit together. Like I have so, and this is the thing that's difficult, right? And I know this is inside baseball. People don't give a shit, right? But when you set up stuff, because I have so much set up in Restream, like easy callbacks. I got things to bring up, my overlays and shit like that. The prospect of reload, like I'm not gonna be able to find this again. I don't even know where I saved this on my computer. I don't know where I'm gonna be able to find this again. So if I was to move away from Restream, we wouldn't get this anymore. Like, do you know how detrimental that would be to lose this overlay? That's an integral part of this show. It's an integral part of this show. Like you just can't go around losing overlays that are this important to the show. You can't do it. You can't do it. It would really suck. It would really suck to lose things like that. It's just crazy. We got pictures of Trey Young's daddy in here. Like, do you know how hard it would be to find a new picture of Trey Young's daddy and reload it up? That's difficult. I got way too much invested in the troll aspect of this. I got way too much invested. You can't do it. You can't do it, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. I just, by the way, hold on. We did get Javon Carter's we got Javon Carter's x-rays back, and he does indeed have pussy in him. He does indeed, like Javon Carter's x-rays came back, and he is a pussy at heart. That's just is what it is. Like that's what the x-rays came back at. Don't get mad at me because this is what the x-rays came back at. I'm just the dude who just got the x-rays. I didn't do it. I'm not the medical doctor. I didn't do it. So I'm just saying, I can't just give up these overlays that I have because what's going to happen to them at that point in time? What's going to happen at that point in time? What are we going to do? It's going Oh man, that's funny. That's crazy, bro. That's just wild, man. It's crazy. Oh man. That's funny. That's funny. That's crazy. That's actually pretty wild, is what that is. But it is what it is, man. That's funny. Basically, everyone coming over to NBC or ABC and ESPN, but Ernie will still recap the games over at Warner Brothers. He said he ain't leaving TNT after they end the show over there this season. Well, hey, shout out. It sucks that Ernie isn't coming over, but Ernie is very loyal to TNT. Basically, like Ernie does what anything. Like he covers more than just basketball for TNT. He does golf. He does a lot for them. So, it is what it is when it comes down to it. By the way, we just got in some footage of the home that Vern and Shay ended up growing up at. Shout out to Shay and Vern's home. It's not their fault, but they were able to come out of it, and you got to give these brothers much love for the way that they were able to not stay inside their circumstances. But we got to love them for it. We got to love them for it. I also heard that currently this is the place that right now, unfortunately, just as things are going on right now, this is where inside the Chicago Bulls is living. This is what we heard about as well. Like inside the Chicago Bulls is living somewhere in this building right here. He's still trying to figure out how the hell his life got to that point, but just kind of shit just happens. Shit spirals out of control sometimes. You can't control it. It is what it is. You just got to go forth in life and just hope that you can make better decisions going forward. So, that's just how things happen. You got to rapping, and that's how it happened, unfortunately. Um, that is hilarious, by the way. Hilarious, bro. But all right. We're gonna go ahead and get ready. Hold on, let's see if they got the starting lineups out, man. That is you gotta keep good troll photos around from time to time. You never know when you're gonna have to troll somebody just a little bit. You just never know. Y'all ever notice how, by the way, ever since Torrey Craig started clapping Meg the Stallion's cheeks that he isn't getting any playtime? Like, it's confirmed that Meg the Stallion's cheeks sap your talent. It's just proven at this point in time. It's literally proven right now. So if you guys, I'm just saying, if you notice the victims, let's just go through. Tory Lanez in prison. Torrey Craig on the back end of the bench after being a really good role player in the NBA, right? It's just there's just trends that happened when you clap Meg the Stallion's cheeks, and you just at some point we just gotta acknowledge that a thing is a thing, and that she has discovered the technology from Space Jam to sap out the talent of people and their luck. And when that happens, that's just where you are, man. That's just it's really unfortunate, bro. It's really unfortunate. By the way, we're gonna take a brief break. We got a message from Pat the designer.
George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Calvin Coolidge.
Ooh, Coolio. Don't worry.
Shout out to Pat the designer and Petty and P Kid for coming through real quick and blessing Chicago Bulls Central. We appreciate them for doing it, man. We gotta give them much love. Those are two people that really inspire content creators everywhere. Is Pat the designer and P Kid. Shout out to those brothers. We love what they're doing over at the Windy City Breeze. Much love up to them. That's my family. Like, we're all jokes aside, that's my family. I love both those brothers, man. But they still can get these jokes. You still can get these jokes. Don't forget Ben Simmons. When Ben Simmons hit Meg the Stallion. See, it's the trends. The more that you find out, the trends just continue. Just continue. So, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, you got to watch yourself. You got to watch yourself. So, party, right? I'm just saying. You got to think about it. You just got to think about it, man. I'm telling you, trends are trends for a reason. That's wild, man. That's wild. That's wild. Vern said your head size don't match your body, and your glasses don't match your nothing either. Like, Vern got on those Coke bottle glasses. Like, literally, Vern's glasses are made out of the same glass that they use to protect the Pope when they're traveling. Like, it's like if JF Kennedy had on Vern's glasses when he got shot, he would have never died. It would not have penetrated. It wouldn't have penetrated. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. I'm not here. I'm just the messenger. That's it. That's all I'm saying is I'm just I'm just commenting on what actually happened. That's all I'm really doing. That's it. But let's hope the Bulls get a win today. Let's hope that the Bulls, even Josh Giddey has a bounce back game, plays more than 15 minutes. This is a game where the Houston Rockets are going to try to attack Josh Giddey. And I think that this is going to be the game plan for teams for the foreseeable future. They're going to try to attack those guys. They're going to try to attack those guys. They are going to attack Josh Giddey every chance they get, especially in the second half of this game. So you got to watch out for that. Let's see how the Bulls counteract that. Let's see if Io continues his play. And Patrick Williams could be really important in a game like this. When you look at the forwards that the Houston Rockets have, it can be really important for Patrick Williams and his versatility for sure in this game. Look out for Patrick Williams to guard about 3 or 4 players in this game for sure. So, that's what you got to look out for, man. But yeah, I love you guys, man. Make sure you guys are following us, man, at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red. Let's get this dub, y'all.